Mother Nature, Lake Biwa. It is not only the largest lake in Japan, but also one of the few ancient lakes around the world. It is a place where the variety of life happens. Shiga Prefecture is located in the very middle of Japan. Surrounded by mountains, it shows changing landscapes from season to season. This video introduces the 4 areas of Shiga Prefecture. The north of Lake Biwa is an area where numerous warlords were born, making it a stage on which history played out. Surrounded by mountains and richly endowed with nature, the remains of historical townscapes are still apparent as you walk the streets. This video introduces the allure of the vast Kohoku area. Hikone Castle is a Hirayama-jiro, which refers to a castle built on a hillside surrounded by a plain. The hillside in this case is Mount Hikone. At the top of Mount Hikone, there stands a castle tower which is a national treasure. Around the castle tower are some turrets that are important cultural properties. In addition to various historical residences, the inner and middle moats at the foot of the mountain remain just as they were. In the inner moat, prickly water lilies grow naturally. These thorny lilies, which often grow in reservoirs, reportedly functioned perfectly as a barrier against enemy invaders attempting to cross the moat. In the spring, about 1,200 cherry trees blossom around Hikone Castle, and the castle celebrates the most beautiful season of the year. In the fall, the castle is lit up at night, and you can enjoy various lighting effects emerging through the fall foliage. Walking along the roadside leading to the bridge, a row of Iroha pine trees can be seen. Dubbed Hikone's Kitchen, the Hikone Market Avenue was always a bustling place, and it has now been reborn as Yonbancho Square. The gas lights along the town streets recreate the atmosphere of the Taisho era. Here, you will encounter scenes that you can find nowhere else. Just around the corner from the Kyobashi Bridge, you will find Yume Kyobashi Castle Road. This complex consists of buildings with white walls and latticed doors, reproducing the merchants' houses of the Edo-era castle town. Alongside Japanese and European sweet shops, there are many other stores selling local specialties. The Yume Kyobashi Akarikan is a museum of Japanese candles, which was Hikone's local industry in the Edo era. Here, visitors are presented with 1,000 different types of candles and incense. Because Hikone has a deep association with haiku poets, there are a number of poetry monuments, including ones to Basho Matsuo and his direct disciple, Kyoriku Morikawa. The Hayukan displays monuments to poetry, as well as other exhibits related to haiku. Based on a Taisho-era credit union, the building's retro exterior is another highlight. You can swim in Lake Biwa. The Shingaihama swimming spot is located in the south of Hikone, on the right bank of the mouth of the Echigawa River, where the city borders Higashiomi City. This spot is blessed with a beautiful landscape, with a white sandy beach and rows of pine trees. A family-friendly shoaling beach with good water, Shingaihama is very busy in the summer. Another great swimming spot with beautiful pine trees, Matsubara, has a 1-kilometer stretch of white sandy beach that also attracts many families. This beach is also known as the venue of the Japan International Birdman Rally. Hikone has 2 post towns on the Nakasendo, an Edo period highway between Edo and Kyoto, Torimoto Juku and Takamiya Juku. The relics of the Edo period that can be seen in these towns remind us of the depth of the history in this area. At the first corner of the Torimoto Juku post town is a grand residence of the Arikawa clan, the founder of Akadama Shinkyogan. The family started manufacturing the stomach medicine that you can carry in your pocket during the Edo period and is still selling it today. Takamiya-juku is a shrine town connected to the Taga Taisha Shrine, and the torii standing at its heart is always surrounded by hustle and bustle. This town was a trading center of Takamiya Jofu cloth, the area's specialty, and had abundant economic power. Takamiya Jofu already enjoyed nationwide popularity in the Muromachi era. The narrow streets are reminiscent of that time. Mount Ibuki is one of the 100 famous mountains in Japan and is the highest in Shiga Prefecture. It constitutes a border with Gifu Prefecture, and from its summit you can enjoy panoramic views of Lake Biwa, Mount Hira, Mount Hiei, the Japan Alps, and Ise Bay. Mount Ibuki is a historic mountain. Its name appears in the two oldest extant chronicles of Japan, Kojiki and Nihon Shoki, as well as the legend of Prince Yamato Takeru no Mikoto. Famous as a sacred mountain, Mount Ibuki became one of the 7 important places for the practice of Shugendo during the Heian period, and was visited by many mountain aesthetics. Since ancient times, Mount Ibuki has been famous as a treasure trove of medicinal plants, subalpine plants, wild birds, and insects. The flower-covered meadow at the summit is designated as a national treasure of Japan. The town of Nakasendo Samegai-juku in Maibara City is known for its clear streams. The Juzo River is fed by a clear stream from Isame, which is famous for baikamo, a very unusual flower that blossoms in the water. With a water temperature at a stable 14 degrees Celsius throughout the year, the river is a habitat for a valuable freshwater fish, the hario, or small-headed stickleback. The water quality of the Isame stream has been selected among the 100 best of the present Heisei era. Baikamo bear small white flowers from mid-May until late August. The habitat of this aquatic plant is limited to clear streams with temperatures of around 14 degrees Celsius, limiting it to just a few places in Japan. There is also a trout hatchery in the Samegai area. Schools of rainbow trout and other species of trout, such as amago and iwana, swim in clear ponds of the streams flowing from Mount Ryozen. Mount Ibuki offers another attraction, paragliding. Experience the magnificent natural landscape from above with a panoramic view of Lake Biwa. With instructors there to offer guidance, even beginners can have a go. You want to fly like a bird? Why not? Nagahama was the first castle town that Hideyoshi Hashiba established after becoming a daimyo. Made up of traditional buildings, Kurokabe Square is a tourist spot in the old town of Nagahama City. The streets around the square are steeped in the atmosphere of bygone days, with traditional buildings dating back to the Edo and Meiji eras, accommodating galleries, restaurants, cafes, a glass studio, and a museum that was remodeled using historic architecture. This square is known as the site of the largest glass art exhibition in Western Japan, and is one of the most popular tourist attractions in the Kohoku area, drawing approximately 2 million tourists a year. The former Nagahama train station is the oldest station building in Japan. As well as exhibiting valuable railway-related documents, the Nagahama Railroad Museum also has a model railroad. In the Hokuriku Line Electrification Memorial Hall, you can view electric locomotives that used to run on the Hokuriku Line, such as the Deikoichi, a steam locomotive, and the ED-70, a historical electric locomotive. Nagahama Castle, once the residence of Hideyoshi Toyotomi at the end of the Sengoku era, was demolished in the early Edo era. Some of the remains were moved to Hikone Castle and Daitsuji Temple. Although only part of a stone wall and a well remained at the original castle site, the ruin was reborn as Showa New Castle in 1983, recreating the design of the Azuchi Momoyama Castle. The castle is open to the public as a history museum. From the observation deck on the 5th floor, you will have a view that takes in all of Nagahama City. A mystical atmosphere can be felt on Shibuku Island in Lake Biwa. The principal Buddhas placed in the Hogonji Temple on Chikubu Island are Benzaiten and Avalokitesvara. Alongside those on Miyajima and Enoshima, this Benzaiten is one of the three most famous in Japan. A national treasure, the Karamon Chinese-style gate at Hogonji Temple was part of the Gokuraku Gate at Osaka Castle, which was built by Hideyoshi. It attracts attention as the only extant remain of Osaka Castle. Chikubu Island is one of the 8 best scenic spots of Lake Biwa. Visitors never fail to be charmed by its mystic beauty. Since ancient times, gourds have been viewed as lucky items. A set of 6 gourds is believed to be a talisman that will protect its owner from illness, based on a play on words. The term for 6 gourds, mubyo, also sounds like no illness. Associated with growing vines and bunches of fruit, gourds have become a symbol of good fortune and a long family line. When he lived in Nagahama Castle, Lord Hideyoshi used clusters of gourds as a battle emblem, and every time he won, he added another gourd around his waist. At 6 shrines and temples in the area associated with Hideyoshi, Nagahama Hachimangu, Shana-in, Chizen-in, Jinshoji, the Hokoku Shrine, and Soji-ji, you can get gourds that have been blessed by the priests. Daitsuji Temple contains many important sites. The main temple and the Great Hall are said to be the remains of Fushimi Castle, and there are also examples of Fusumae wall art by Okyo Maruyama, Sanraku Kano, Sansetsu Kano, and Ganku. In addition, you will encounter here a number of beautiful sites that have cultivated the spirit of Nagahama, such as the garden, which is specified as a national scenic spot. Shortly after the introduction of teppo, guns, to Japan, the village of Kunitomo started gun production and became a major gun production area. At its peak, there were over 500 artisans working in more than 70 smithies. In addition to the history and culture of Kunitomo, the Kunitomo Tempo no Sato Museum uses multiple projectors, dioramas, and other artifacts to introduce the achievements of Edo-era inventor Ikansai Kumitomo, who was called the Edison of Japan. The Azai Folk History Museum comprises 4 facilities: the Folk Studies Museum, Itohime no Yakata, a smithy, and Shichirin Hall. At the Folk Studies Museum, you can view materials related to the Sengoku-era lords of the Azai clan, as well as a model of Odani Castle, while Itohime no Yakata introduces the vigorous history of the area's sericulture. The smithy introduces the history of fashioning tools out of metals, while the Shichirin Hall is a relocated late Edo folk house. Through these facilities, you can experience and learn the history, culture, industrial evolution of the Azai area. The headwaters of the Anegawa River on Mount Ibuki. The Battle of Anegawa was fought by the Azai and Asakura troops against the allied forces of Nobunaga Oda and Ieyasu Tokugawa, as a result of a feud between Nagamasa Azai and Nobunaga Oda. After the pitched battle, the Azai and Asakura forces escaped to Odani Castle. The memorial to the soldiers killed in this battle stands at the base of the Anegawa Nomurabashi Bridge, which is said to have been dyed deep red with the blood of the soldiers. The Oku-Biwako Parkway is a great driving course along the northern shore of Lake Biwa. The 0.8-kilometer course is lined with about 3,000 cherry trees aged from 20 to 25 years old, which flower every April, drawing crowds of visitors. Besides the natural beauty that is unique to Lake Oku-Biwakoko, and Shikubu Island. You can also enjoy the splendid view from the Tsuzura Ozaki observation deck. The Yamakado Suigen no Mori boasts a 30,000-year history. The forest is a habitat for a great deal of important flora and fauna, and the ancient Yamakado Marsh is a great place for hiking and nature observation. The many precious flora and fauna include bamboo lilies and fringed orchids. With cherry blossoms in spring, fresh greenery in summer, and autumnal colors in the fall, the forest offers year-round enjoyment. Lake Yogo is the birthplace of mystical stories such as the legend of Hagoromo, Feather Mantle, and Princess Kikuishi. Next to the lake is a willow tree on which it is believed a heavenly maiden hung her robe. The lake is beautiful in all 4 seasons, and cycling and hiking are popular activities. If you visit the Yogogawa Tsutsumi cherry blossoms along the Yogo waterway in the spring, you will see rapeseed blossoms vying in beauty with the cherry blossoms, while in summer there are beautiful hydrangeas. Many people visit here in the winter too to enjoy fishing for smelt amidst the romantic snowscape. This is a soothing spot for many people all year round. Thanks to the panoramic views offered by Mount Shizugatake, it is known as one of Biwako's 8 top scenic spots. From the summit, you can see Okubiwako and Shikubu Island to the southwest, Mount Abuki to the southeast, and Lake Yogo to the north. It is also the site of the historic Battle of Shizugatake, fought in 1583 between Hideyoshi Hashiba and Katsuie Shibata. You will find here monuments to the battle and the war dead. There are also various hiking trails around Lake Biwa and Lake Yogo, covering many scenic and historic spots. From the Kinomoto side, you can take a chairlift that will take you near the summit. Kinomoto Juku flourished as a temple town of the Jizo-in Temple. A crossroads between the Hokoku-do Highway and the Hokoku-Waki-Okan Road, this post town thronged with travelers and pilgrims who had come to worship the Jizo Bodhisattva. Until the early Showa era, a stream flowed through the middle of Kinomoto Juku, lined with willow trees. Although some of the post-town atmosphere was lost when the stream was reclaimed, the old merchants' houses helped the town retain a feeling of nostalgia. This is one of the branch temples of the Keisokuji Temple, which was once a magnificent and sacred place of mountain Buddhism. In medieval times, this temple, so large that it had its own band of warrior monks, operated stably under the continued patronage of the rulers. However, with the end of the Tokugawa shogunate, it fell into decline. The gradual approach up the stone steps, the moss-covered stone walls, and the 200 old maple trees exude a subtle, profound atmosphere. Kinomoto Jizo-in is a temple of the Jishu sect of Buddhism and is dedicated to the Buddha for recovery from eye-related illnesses. Boasting a long history dating back to the Hakuho era, the temple has a 6-meter-high Jizo statue that is designed after a principal image of the Buddha, which is rarely shown to the public. In Kinomoto Jizo-in, you will find many statues of frogs with one eye closed. These represent the Buddhas for eyes. According to legend, frogs living in the temple saw many people suffering from eye troubles. By closing one eye, they acted as substitutes for those people in the wish that everyone's precious eyes may be blessed by the Bodhisattvas. You can appreciate the fantastic sunset from the Kogen Road and Yutaka Park in Nagahama City. Compared to other spots around Lake Biwa, the view from here is even more magnificent because the distance to the opposite shore is greater. Heading north, you will come to a wild bird park where you can see aquatic birds floating on the water as the sun sets beautifully behind them. There is a wild bird center in the park where you can get a closer look at the aquatic birds through a field scope and receive specialist guidance about the birds and nature. Odani Castle was a residence of Sengoku daimyo Nagamasa Azai and one of the 5 most famous mountain castles in Japan. Some of the remains, such as the castle's stone walls and enclosure, are unchanged, retaining their original features, making this ruin extremely significant. The spot is a perfect place for viewing cherry blossoms in the spring, while hiking and enjoying the autumnal colors are popular in the fall. How do you like Shiga so far? I hope you found something that attracts you to visit Shiga. There is still so much more to enjoy, but we cannot introduce everything in this short clip. We are pleased to invite you to visit Shiga and experience our culture with all 5 of your senses. For more information, please visit individual tourist association websites.